and one of them is a new fold that I learned, and I can't even tell you the name of it. This is the card, and it sits like this, but it's this really cute card. So let me give you that really quick. I have all of the measurements for you. We are starting with the base card at 9 3/8 by 4 1/4. And while I tell you this, we're going to score so that you have those score lines as well. So you're going to score at 3/8 of an inch, at 1 3/8 of an inch, at 2 7/8, and 3 7/8. That's that piece. The next piece is the front piece, and it is 5 1/8 by 3 1/4, and we're going to score that at 3 3/4 and at 4 3/4. All right, so we got the scoring part down. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. So on the $1 Million Countdown, I am doing a giveaway this month. Last month I gave away the Baby Boss, and Andrea Mallon won that. This month I'm giving away a Stamparatus, and I can't open the box right now, but this is what it looks like. So a free Stamparatus. We'll have a drawing for that. You can get in that drawing for every $50 that you place in orders this month. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and score these really quickly. I want to show you how to put this together because it's really, really cool, but it's tricky if you don't know how to do it right. Okay, so on our base card, we have a 4x4 piece of designer paper, and this is from the Eden's Garden. This is that paper I said you got to grab it while it's available. It has beautiful, beautiful gold embossing throughout the design, and that's just going to pop right here on the edge of our piece. It looks like I didn't center that very well, but okay. Then we have, looks like I'm missing a piece. I don't see the front piece. All right, so that goes here. It's 1 1/4 by 4. Like I said, this one is 4 by 4. All right, let's go ahead and put this on. This goes on the front piece, and this actually layers on our gold piece. The gold piece is 3 1/2 by 3. This is 3 3/8 by 2 7/8. And I hate to waste this paper, so I already cut out of that some gold pieces that we're going to use on the outside. All right, so now that's going to get glued onto, I'm not sure why that's not coming off of there. That was strange. It's like it says, I don't want to come off on this gold paper. So on here, on this larger section of the front piece, we're going to glue that down. All right, I can pop this on later, so I'm not too worried about that. But I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive on this little strip here, and on this little strip here while I've got the adhesive in my hand, and it's going off the edge here, so let's pop that back on. I don't want that sticking out over the edge, so I'm going to just fold it back on itself. If you don't have Seal Plus for this fold, because there's lots of action happening, you'll want to use tear and tape, something heavy, a heavy type of adhesive, so that it holds for you. All right, so to glue this down, I'm going to fold this completely back on the second score, and I'm going to fold it completely flat and press that down. And now it's going to be exactly in place where I need it. Okay? No mess, no fuss. Now we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to fold this back on the second fold. Now I would normally put my adhesive here before I stick it down, but because I have to add my paper here, I'm going to add that later. So I would put 2 strips of adhesive right here on this edge, and fold this flat. This fold goes to the edge of your card, and you can just go ahead and lay that down. And like I said, in this case, it would have adhered right here and right here I should say. And then when I open it up, it would come forward like this and be in the perfect spot. But unfortunately, because I couldn't glue that down, you can see there how that should be. So by the magic of television, here's the glued piece, okay? And then on the front of here, we're going to punch with our, I think it's called Pretty, Label Me Pretty Punch. And I'm just going to pop one of those out. And we're going to stamp this stamp from Eden's Garden. And I'm using Evening Evergreen. And now I'm just going to pop that on here. And I'm going to put that up with dimensionals, I believe is what I did. You don't have to. Because there's lots of dimension on this card, you could easily skip dimensionals on this. But if you like dimensionals like I do, you can pop them up there as well. So there's the front of the card. And like I said, because I am just a little bit close on time, I'm not going to take the time to completely glue that. Now, I do want to show you the back of the card. So I'm going to fold this flat. And on the back, I took a piece of white cardstock and I stamped "My heart is tied to yours, tug if you need anything." And I added a little bit of stamping with another stamp from Eden's Garden. Okay? Because this is where you'll sign your card. Now, sorry, this is not completely attached. But again, by the magic of television, we have our card completely done. Okay? So, that is a fun, fun, fun card. I hope you like it. I hope you got those measurements. If not, I will try to, I'll try to type those in for you in the description. It'll have to be later, but come back and check my edit after this plays live. Okay, next is this really fun card. Let me see if I have. So another fun fold. This one just folds back in the front. It's like a half a Z card, not a double Z card. And this one is using Christmas Season stamp set. There is a lot of stuff to this one, so I'm probably going to pop through it quickly. But actually, I think I forgot to bring my cardstock in for that. So I might just talk you through this one and show you how I tied this ribbon. A couple of things that are fun about this, and I'm just finding all of my stuff here. I brought in a die. Had it in my hand when I walked in here, so where is it now? Okay. Some days are just not fun. Oh my goodness, I found it. It was on the steps where I stopped to talk to my daughter. So this is a die from the Christmas Blessing stamp set, Christmas to Remember, I'm sorry. And I'm using just a couple little pieces of this beautiful greenery, which is actually in goldery this time. So I just stuck some little pieces of our brush metallic, the lightest shade of our brush metallic paper. And whoops, I just threw that one away. So it comes out with 3 pieces. And let me just pop those out of here. Grab my tool here. Okay, come on, get out there. It does not want to come out. Well, the UPS is here. That's why you hear the dog barking and bouncing around upstairs. Okay, so what I did was I actually embossed this with our wood grain embossing folder. I'm hoping that you can see that. You can definitely see it where the design is, where it's stamped. And I did that on purpose because I really think that makes the design pop, the embossing pop, if you can see the stamping on top of it. So I'm going to just walk you through what I did here. So I stamped with yeah, I always have trouble with the name of this ink pad, and I had it earlier with no problem, and now Soft Seafoam. I got it before I pulled it out. Soft Seafoam in Coastal Cabana and Early Espresso. And for the Early Espresso, what I did was my magnets are acting up. So I had it in here, and I stuck my little die cut pieces in these 2 holes. I inked my stamps with Early Espresso, and then I put a piece of scrap paper in here, and I stamped it and got all the ink off of it that I could. And then I came back without re-inking, and I put my 2 pieces back in here, and I inked it. And I mean, I didn't ink it. I just stamped with what ink was left on there because I just wanted it to be really light. And this is the color that I got. If you look in the background here, this lighter brown is what I got because it was stamped off. And then there's another stamp to do the solid Early Espresso on top of those leaves. Okay, so, and you see my pieces here that I just cut out. And then for my saying, I took this 5-inch piece of paper and I gave it 2 score lines, about 3/4 of an inch in, and then on the next mark in. And then I just embossed my saying. Let me just get rid of this so you're not confused. I stamped Merry Christmas from Christmas to Remember in Versamark here. And in fact, I can go ahead and do that for you because I have that all right here. Let me grab this stamp buddy. Okay, and here's the Merry Christmas. And I left these pieces wide so that I could make this as wide as I needed it to be. This saying does not look very wide, but because the H goes up so high and the Y comes down so far, it tends to get a lot wider than you think it's going to be. I'm just going to grab some scrap paper here and put our white powder on. I'm not happy about this dark stuff in here. Not sure why that's all in there. And then we'll pop that back in there. Okay, so then we'll heat that. Let me do that real quick. Alright, so when that's done, I just grab my little trimmer, which is here somewhere. Oh, it's right in front of me. And then I can trim this to the exact size that I need it. So I'm going to pop this in here, see where the top of my H is, and chomp that off. And now I have this perfect little tag. Let me lift this up that I can get out of there. Alright. So this way, it's the exact size that I need. I could take a little bit more off if I wanted to. And then this ends up just making a little tag. I probably should punch that end first. And I'm using our tag punch here. Multiple tag punch. Do both ends. Oops, did I not get in the whole way? There we go. I'm not sure what was catching there. Alright, so then I'm just going to fold down on the one fold and out on the other. So now I have this 3D tag, and you can do that on both ends. And there we go. Okay, and then I did my, I did one of the large pine cones and 2 of the small ones, and I sort of just laid this here so that I could figure out about where I wanted them to go. And I will tell you that I put double dimensionals on here because I wanted it to pop up a little bit more. You can, I don't know if you can see on my original one that it looks like it's really squished down pretty good, and I didn't want that, so I doubled the dimensionals on this one, and I really like the way that looks better. Alright, so I stamped with soft seafoam 3 times. I stamped with Coastal Cabana 3 times. He's hidden under there. and then I just layered the other 3. So everything is 3s. Now the thing that I don't have on here is what I wanted to add, and that was some holiday rhinestones. Unfortunately, it looks like I only have a couple of these blue ones left. However, these garden gems come with the Eden's Garden, and I thought they might look really pretty on there too, because they are a light blue. That would look really nice. But I'm going to go ahead and stick with my my holiday rhinestones, because they're sort of pool party-ish, and I think they'll look really pretty with this. Even though this isn't pool party, it's Coastal Cabana, the colors look really nice together. My thingy was not, my take your pick tool was like not on there right. There we go. And all that added bling just sets that card off. So I don't know who designed this. I copied this from one of our Artisan Award winners, and my print did not print her. I printed it off to copy. I changed it up. It's a different fold, but I used her sort of her layout idea, and I would like to show you the ribbon on this and how I did that. Let me find my ribbon here. I'm using the Pool Party. It's called just Pool Party, and it's like an organdy. Whoops, just lost my take your pick tool. And I'm using, like, if you want to know, about 9.5 inches. And I'm going to just cut this right down the center to make this even more thin and pretty. It's going to add more fullness, because it's going to be double. Actually, it's going to be quadruple, because I'm using 2 ribbons and I'm cutting them both in half. So we'll have quadruple the amount of ribbon that you would have with just one piece, even though that would be pretty as well. But we're going to tie this with our bow maker. My son made me some, my husband, I forget who made what, but anyways, my dad, I think, drilled the holes for me, and we put I cut the dowel rods to go in them, and it just makes it easy to tie a quick bow. So this is what it looks like. It has 2 dowel rods, and all you need is a piece of wood and a couple holes and a couple dowel rods, and you can do this yourself. A lot of people might use a fork to do it, or a friend's 2 fingers, but this way you can do it yourself, and it's pretty easy. So I'm just going to wrap it around, cross it in the front, and I try to keep them all nice and flat. This piece on top is going to come down, around, and up, and it's going to pull everything together. And then I'm going to stick my finger in here to create a hole, and this is going to come, all of these 4 pieces here are going to come down, trying to keep them together here, and I'm going to try to put them all through that hole at the same time, which I know they're not going to go. You know how that is, especially if you're on camera. I think I got all of them, and now I'm just going to give it a pull. I pull it out to the side so everything lays nice and straight, and pull it tight, and then you can just fluff these pieces here, pull them apart a little bit, and then you've got this beautiful little bow. Okay, and then he'll get trimmed. He'll get a little haircut so that he fits on the card. I think I trimmed this one so that it fit on the card nicely. All right, I also want to tell you about the edge of this white piece that I roughed up, and you can do that with your scissors, or in this case I found an old tool that we have. You know, I have these projects all messed up. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have a mess. This tool does it's like a blade, but it's inside there, so it holds it in place, and you just keep rubbing over it until you have roughened up the edge like you like it. And I roughened it up after I embossed it, of course, so it really, really, I don't know if you can see that well. It seems like this white paper, the closer I get it to the camera, the worse it is. But it gave me a really nice rough edge, and even in some cases, I think on this one, it even dug into where the the wood grain was coming out, and it gave these little cuts that you could fold up. And yeah, so all right, so yeah, I think that's everything there. I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry that had to be so quick, but yeah, lots of crazy things happening here. And if I didn't record this now, I have class tomorrow, and so I don't know when I would get back to you. And I sure hate to not have this for you tonight when I tell you that I'm going to be here tonight, right? Okay, so that's that one. That's 2 of them. The third one is this card, and it's again using Eden's Garden, and we are doing something totally different with it. I can't find the sample. Oh, here, it's under here. I copied this idea somewhat from Gail Ellis, and you see the pretty brick on here. So what I did, I started this on the last video. So I stamped our design from Eden's Garden. I used the stamp set here, and then I used a couple of this one and this one to add a little bit of accent using Night of Navy on crumb cake. Because crumb cake isn't really smooth, it makes it real muted, which I liked. And then I'm going to take my brick folder once I have that stamped, and I'm going to just run this through the Big Shot, or the Stamp and Die Cut machine, of course, as it's called. And let me just pop that in here real quick. Put my fold first. Line that up. And I know I'm sitting crooked here. And we'll run that through. Get that out of our way. And there we go. Then I want to add, I'm going to tie my cording around before I put my navy piece on. And the way I do that is I start at the end where my bow is going to be, and it's going to be down here. So I'm going to start here, leave a little bit on the end to tie that bow, and I'm going to wrap it around twice, and then I'm going to cross this top one over under everything, under both pieces, and now I can tie a bow. Maybe if I can find the edge, and there we go. And now I can just trim that up a little bit. All right, now I'm going to put some adhesive, and I think I'm going to use green glue just because this is so bumpy. I'm going to put adhesive along here, and I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive up here to glue this down to my card. Because where I want my my blue piece to go, I want to make sure that everything is nice and square. So I want to get this up here and put it where I want it, and then I'm going to just tuck this under because I want this to come down to the edge of my card. It would help if I can see what I'm doing. So then I can just lay this right down on there, and I do want that little stitch to show because, I mean, if you're going to have a stitch, it might as well show, right? There's just a little stitch right here at the edge. All right, so now I can press that down in place, and I guess I have one problem, and that is that now the navy piece needs glued down, and I forgot about that. I might let that dry a minute. I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals. I did emboss Dear Friend with white embossing powder, and I'm going to stick that on here. I figured I only needed to show you one embossing, right? I'm going to put that right above where we have our cord. And then Little Chicky Poo, this is from Birds and Branches, I think it's called. And he's going to get 2 dimensionals here. And he's going to just stand right here by the tag. And isn't he adorable? I don't know, this card just really needed a bird set. The thing about this stamp set is that there's not, oh, there's plenty of glue in there. I just need to hold that down. There's not really a focal image in the set. If I show that to you again, these are all very muted stamps, and so the sayings would be the focal image, like we did on the one card. But in this case, I added the bird, which is now our focal image, and I really like how that works. So I hope that's helpful for you, and I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to pop off now and go do my class. I hope that you have a good evening, and I will see you next week.